What if I proclaim I can read minds? You are a professional and are having issues with your career, or worse, you're fearing being laid off. You're blaming office politics for it. If that is a yes, let us start with a question. Do you think working hard is enough to get you ahead in your career? If your again answer is yes, you might be ignoring the invisible force that shapes success in every workplace, office politics. If the answer is no and you think you're doing the hard work, delivering things on time, everybody likes you, but there's no job security, recognition, or reward. Do you also blame this on office politics? Well, both are the same. Today we are diving into one of the most misunderstood and dreaded topics in professional life, office politics. Now, before you roll your eyes or think that's not for me, let me tell you this. Office politics isn't something that you can opt out of. It's not about scheming or gossiping, but it's about influence, relationships, and understanding how decisions are made. Like it or not, it's part of every organization, and if you want to grow or save your career, you need to engage with it in a way that aligns with your own values. Let us understand this a little bit more in this episode. Here's the crux of the problem. It is a topic that most people love to hate but can't avoid: office politics. So we don't understand it well enough. The the question is it a necessary evil or just a myth we use to explain workplace dynamics we don't really understand? Let's unpack it together. Welcome to Agna Academy. My name is Girish Hebbani. The word office politics. The mere mention of it might make you think of backdoor deals, favoritism, or endless mind games or manipulation. But here's the truth: office politics is neither inherently good nor bad. They're simply the dynamics of human relationships at work. And whether you like it or not, you can't sit out or ignore it out. The good news, however, you don't have to compromise your values or play dirty to thrive in this environment. The key lies in reframing your approach to office politics by focusing on three positive building blocks: influence, integrity, and interaction. When you combine these three elements, office politics transforms from a dreaded obstacle into an opportunity to foster collaboration, create impact, and build a reputation as someone who gets things done honorably and effectively. Let's unpack this through a sporting scenario, as all of us can relate to it in some way. Imagine being a coach of a basketball team. Your task is to choose the team captain. Three players stand out. John, the most skilled player, but often plays for personal glory rather than for the team. Joe, less skilled, but always motivates teammates, helps with training, and steps up for the team. Jane, a very popular average performer, but well liked by the teammates and also has great relationships with others. How would you make your decision? Should it be performance alone? Should it be leadership qualities? Should it be popularity? Just think, what role does politics play in this? How to make this decision? We unpack this in the longer version of the course, but let's explore this further in a very brief way in this episode. So what is it? Let's start by defining office politics. At its core, office politics is about power dynamics: who holds influence, how decisions are made, and how resources are allocated. Every workplace has a structure, but beyond the formal hierarchy, there's the informal network of relationships that often dictates how things get done. Now, here's the catch: office politics isn't inherently bad. Think of it as a neutral tool, like fire. It can cook a meal, warm a home, or burn it down, depending on how you use it. Unfortunately, the term office politics has gotten a bad rap because we usually associate it with manipulation, favoritism, or unfair power plays. But is that the reality? It is never about you. Even though we may want to think that way, understand that there are others in exactly the same boat as you are who feel exactly the same way. So I would like to reframe it as office dynamics with a neutral connotation. You too can become politically savvy if you work on it. Let's see how you do it. Let's capture the essence of office dynamics from different angles. The three I's: influence, integrity, and interaction. Influence: develop your ability to sway decisions and outcomes. Integrity is navigate office politics authentically. Interaction: build and nurture meaningful relationships. The three P's: perception. Understand how others see you and your work. Power. Harness relationship currency and influence capital. Participation. Engage actively and adapt to the political environment. Now the three C's. Connection. Build a strong and reliable network of allies. Communication. Be clear and strategic and persuasive in your messaging. Collaboration. Work effectively with others to achieve shared goals. Let us start by debunking some of the common myths about office politics. Most of us associate the team with backstabbing, manipulation, or bad behavior. But the truth is, office dynamics is about relationship currency, the trust and goodwill you build with others, and influence capital, which is your ability to sway decisions and outcomes. Think about this. Have you ever seen a coworker who spends more time chatting with people than buried in work? Yet, they're the ones who always seem to know what's happening and get ahead. That's not slacking, it's strategic. They're building influence and staying plugged into the informal networks that drive decisions. Here's another myth. If I just work hard and keep my head down, I will be recognized. Unfortunately, that's rarely the case. A high-performing employee who doesn't invest in relationships is like a tree falling in the forest with no one around. It does not even make a sound. Let me tell you a story of an overlooked star performer. Maybe you've also been there and relate to this. You're staying late, delivering exceptional results only to see someone else get the promotion that you were hoping for. It's frustrating, right? But here's the thing. It's not about your work. It's about who knows your work and who speaks up for you when you're not in the room. And that is most important. This topic is part of your organizational awareness module. Political awareness isn't something that you are just born with. It's something that you build over time. We will cover each in more detail in the main course, but for now you need to start building awareness, especially understanding the political environment within your organization. Have you ever felt like your workplace has its own set of unspoken rules? Maybe you've seen people getting ahead through the backdoor conversations while others rely on their job title to make things happen. The main frustrating part is the rules that exist that slows everything down. Well, that's because every workplace has its own political landscape, a mix of power, influence, and hidden norms that shapes how things really get done within that workplace. This framework describes four political landscapes in the organization. The first one is the weeds. These are informal networks and personal influence on each other. The next one is the rocks. This is the power based on formal authority, based on titles, roles, and resources that are available. Third is the high ground. These are formed by formal rules, procedures, and systems. Lastly is the woods. These are implicit norms and hidden organizational assumptions that exist in every workplace. All of the above constitute the political landscape of an organization. How much of this landscape are you aware of and are already part of? And this is important for you. Now that we have tackled the myths, the political landscape, let's talk about reframing what office politics really means. Do you see informal conversations as lobbying with all its negative connotations, or do you see them as doing your homework? For example, let's say you are preparing for an important meeting at which decisions about various projects, including yours, are going to be made. Your colleague who takes time to talk with the key stakeholders beforehand isn't being sneaky. They're ensuring their project aligns with what matters most to those decision makers. That's not politics, it's preparation. Reframing office politics or dynamics often goes about seeing and using influence, and it is not a dirty word. It's about understanding dynamics of your workplace, like who has got influence, what are the priorities, and how decisions are being made. All Japanese business is actually done this way, and they call it nemawashi. Now let's get briefly into the how. How do you play the game without being or losing yourself? Firstly is focus on understanding your organization's political environment. Every workplace has a unique culture. Some are highly collaborative while others are hierarchical. Ask yourself, does this environment suit my personal style? If not, how can I adapt without compromising my values? Next, invest in relationships. Think of it as building your personal board of directors. These are the colleagues, mentors, and allies who will speak up for you when you're not in the room. But remember, building relationships isn't about being fake or sucking up. It is about showing genuine interest in others, offering value, and being someone people want to actually support. Finally, don't rely solely on performance to get noticed. As harsh as it may sound, your work won't always speak for itself. You need to amplify it. This doesn't mean bragging. It means finding opportunities to showcase your contributions in a way that aligns with your organization's goals. Here's an example. Have you ever worked with someone who always seems to have a supporter in meetings? That's not coincidence. It's the result of intentional relationship building. You need a sponsor who is making an investment in your future. Remember that. Let's talk about navigating challenges with some examples. Of course, politics isn't always smooth sailing. You might encounter gossip or outright conflicts. The key is to stay grounded and ethical and make every interaction influential. Let's say you're blindsided by a decision everyone else seemed to know about. Instead of stewing in frustration, use it as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, who knew about this beforehand? And how can I build connections with those in the know for the future? Or perhaps you've seen someone else take the credit for your idea. Rather than confronting them publicly, consider this approach. Strengthen your visibility by sharing your ideas more broadly next time, whether it is through email, presentation, or informal discussion with the key players within the organization. How about another one? Have you ever noticed that one colleague who always seems to get the best assignments, the most visibility with leadership, or even those coveted perks like attending high-profile meetings or traveling for conferences? You might think, well, they're just lucky, or maybe they have an inside connection. But the truth is, it's rarely just luck. It's office politics at play. If you feel like this, take a step back and ask yourself, am I ensuring that decision makers see my value, or am I just hoping my work gets noticed? Or am I avoiding office politics out of fear, or am I navigating them in a way that aligns with my values? Or am I connecting with key people across the organization, or am I limiting my exposure to them? So the next time the major opportunity comes up, be the person whose name is already top of mind for these people. Mastering office politics doesn't always mean playing dirty. It means playing smart, and hope you start doing that too. So here are some takeaways. Office politics aren't optional. They are an inevitable part of every organization. They are about influence and relationships, not manipulation or deceit. Success requires more than performance. It needs visibility, advocacy, and strategic connections. As you navigate your career, I encourage you to reframe how you see office politics. Instead of avoiding them, lean in and engage into them ethically and authentically. Treat them as an opportunity to grow your influence and contribute meaningfully to your organization. Remember, politics doesn't have to be about power struggles. They should be about building bridges and creating impact. The choice is entirely left up to you and it is only yours. Let me ask you one last thing. Can you afford to wait? Promotions, pay rises, and recognition are all within reach. But if you're not managing your opportunities proactively, someone else will do it. Are you ready to take the next leap and take control of your career? Once you're a master in the art of office dynamics, you will become a politically savvy professional. Just imagine the doors that will open for you. So thank you for tuning in, and hooroo for now.